This decision was actually made on acid while I was at a concert. I'm making an OnlyFans and I'm quitting this fucking job.
Wardrobe screams fatherless.
You have more trust in that top diving people. How was your relationship with your father? Just saying. Why did you let the attention?
You need Jesus. That's offensive. What the fuck is up, my people? I now have a podcast all to my motherfucking self. Well, part of that's true and part of that is a lie because I have my dog here. Her name is Wubs. She's technically my co-host for the day. Hopefully she's a good co-host and doesn't talk over me or do anything bad, anything distracting. I feel like she will give me kisses in the middle, but I do have Wubs as a co-host today. For those of you who didn't listen to my podcast before, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Adelia, AKA DEELZ or Daddy DEELZ or What is the DEELZ. I got a lot of alter egos here, but my name is Adelia. Some fun facts about me. I really like dubstep. So when wah, wah, wee, wah, wah, those noises, people often refer to them as dinosaur noises, like dinosaur having sex. But that's the intensity of the music. Something else I like a little bit about me, I really like mushrooms, not the legal kind. Surprisingly, I'm not on them today. I am just drinking a Red Bull, so I get a God complex from the caffeine rush. That's what I'm hoping here. And of course, I love my dog Wubs. And I'd say one of the most controversial things that I do, but also one of the most brandable, is that I have an OnlyFans. I have an OnlyFans. Now listen, you might, I gotta spit a little bit, got too excited. Now listen, you might be thinking, OnlyFans? OnlyFans? Damn, this girl is a fucking whore. Well, you're not wrong, but I'm only semi-kidding because, I took a 7-month break, 7-month celibacy break from having sex for the first few months I did OnlyFans. And I only just started fucking around. So this whore thing, it's a little new to me. And I've been fucking around with girls and guys. Gasp! I know, surprising. I just recently found out that I'm bisexual while getting my vagina licked by a gorgeous bombshell with fake tits. But I'll get more into that and the details of that a little bit later. But back to introducing myself. So you might be thinking, you introduced yourself as Adelia, but you have DEELZ on all of your social medias. Well, the alter ego DEELZ came to be because I started growing my Instagram while I was in college. And, I was going to a lot of raves. And, when I go to raves, I post in pasty pictures and I post some slutty content like close-ups. Basically, the camera is up in my asshole and up to my nipples. And those are the kinds of pictures that I would post. So anywho, when my Instagram started growing, my parents started to be able to find me very easily because my username had Adelia in it. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard that name before or know anything about it, but it's not very common. I think there's 15 Adelias on Instagram, so all you have to do is scroll a little bit to find me, and I kept getting in trouble in college for the kinds of pictures that I would post. So what did I do? I figured out a nickname that they had never heard before because I do not go by DEELZ, or I never went by DEELZ really before that, and I'd always been called Adelia. So I'm there's no way my parents will find me if I have DEELZ as my internet persona. It's like my stripper name, my porn star name, but it's the name that I go by for the most part now. And yes, I do consider myself a porn star, for those of you wondering. I know not all OnlyFans girls are, but me, I've crossed that line. I am over the edge. I'm a P-star. I'm proud of it. Let's fucking go. But the alter ego DEELZ didn't end up working that well because apparently my OnlyFans grew so much and my Instagram was growing so much that people still texted my dad and mother about my OnlyFans. And my dad had the audacity to text me screenshots of my nudes. He was like, "This is what you call empowering women?" And I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, it actually fucking does. Because my nudes let guys get off, which I think is a service to the community. I think a lot of guys have pent up testosterone when they don't get laid often. And I give them an outlet to go jack off to my pictures, videos, etc. They pay me, so they're not... I'm doing a service to them. Men everywhere are gonna be like calmer, nicer people because they get off. And how is it empowering women? Because women are getting that bad baby. Fuck the patriarchy. Women are getting rich by selling their nudes, which let me tell you, I'd say about, this is just a made up stat here, but I think about like 80% of women were sending their nudes for free. So now we're just letting ourselves capitalize off it by selling videos of our cooters, selling tit pics, doing whatever. I'm going to take off my dog's collar because she's already being a bad fucking co-host. I was expecting her to be better than the last one, but Wubs, you're fucking it up. There you go. Now you're naked. My dog is now naked. Like, I am online for hundreds of thousands of people to see. For those of you who have been following me for a minute, I did have a podcast that I unfortunately had to leave due to a difference in values and not necessarily aligning with my partner at the time. When I hear from multiple people that I am being inaccurately portrayed to like many others, and it was just a sign that I had to leave and break myself off from that situation. And, I think that we're both going to be happier this way. And it's a blessing to everybody. And I think that's all I'm going to say on the matter, just so we can focus on the positive. And the positive is that I have a podcast all to myself that's going to offend hopefully millions. I'm just putting that out there. I'm manifesting it. Millions are going to get offended by this, but millions are also going to be like, damn, this bitch is kind of funny. She pops that puh. Oh my God, the word pussy just makes me slightly uncomfortable, but she pops that pee. See, you can't say pop that vagine. It just doesn't work like that. So I pop that pee, I'm power woman, and I'm sometimes occasionally funny. So to explain the name, that's offensive, capital OF. So if you live under a rock, OF stands for OnlyFans. However, having the word offensive versus OnlyFans or just having OF, I'm not going to get blocked by Facebook and Instagram ads anymore, baby. I can actually spend money advertising now. And I mean, that's part of the purpose, because I think Instagram, Facebook, Google, they all hate OnlyFans. They're deleting girls' accounts for promoting sex work. There's a lot of things that I feel like not having the word OnlyFans in the name anymore, it's just going to help me, although I still am very much supporting OnlyFans and like what they've allowed me to do. But the offensive part. So it might be a little self-explanatory, but I mean, OnlyFans is one of the biggest things I do. And people just seem to be getting offended left and right. They're like, where is your father? You are a slut. And I'm like, you don't have to subscribe. You don't have to like look at my content. You can block me. But people choose to get offended. But hey, thanks for boosting my engagement, fuckers. Because when you comment all these things, guess what? My videos reach more people, and you're just getting me up there. You're climbing me up the ladder by helping me with my engagement. But I mean, it's not just OnlyFans that people get offended by. Ever since I was like in college, people would get offended by like my bikini pictures. People get offended by my TikToks about empowering women, or saying like funny jokes about short guys, or, people just tend to get funny or offended about everything. Like I could literally be walking down the street, and this actually happened, where I was in a hoodie. And when I wear hoodies, I usually get the extra larges, so I don't need to wear pants. But apparently, this person was offended and told me to put on pants. And I'm like, ma'am, you can't even see my butt. But that's just my point. People choose to get offended by everything, and I just kind of want to make fun of that in this podcast and just say, do what the fuck you want and be who you are and be authentic. Authenticity. Be authentic to who you are. I think the funniest one that people like to say when they are getting offended is like that I'm fatherless. And that's like the funniest thing to me, because somehow my father not really being involved in my life and him being like a narcissistic asshole, like people think that that's an insult to me, when like really, shouldn't that be an insult to him? Like, shouldn't we be putting the blame back on him, like having people take accountability? When it's just so funny to me. But you feels me? You feels me. So let's get into my story and why I am the way I am, because like I think it takes a lot to be this weird and quirky and out there and all the things that I am, but there's a story to it. So, I am your former Miss California. Oh my God, Adelia, you were a pageant girl? And you turned into an OnlyFans porn star? Yes, I did. I hope the pageant system doesn't send me like an email retracting all of my previous titles. They're just going to spend their time like retracting everything with my name on it so they're not associated with me anymore. Oh my God, that'd be fucking hilarious, actually. However, I started pageants when I was like 4 or 5, and that's when I won one of my titles. I've won Miss California 3 times. But I'd say the pageant system kind of fucked me up because I was literally being judged on like who I was and being told who I should be by my mom, pageant coaches, judge comments, etc. Like a judge would literally say like the dumbest shit. Like I didn't like her answer about what she would do if she like found $100 on the street. And like I was saying shit like I wanted to donate it to charity, but they would like nitpick your answers and like who you were as a person. So it wasn't like the healthiest logic, but I started getting bullied at school pretty hard for doing pageants, since I'd say they didn't make me the nicest person because I started to kind of view life as a competition. And I thought that being in a competition with everyone, like I felt like my goal was to be better than them. So, it was kind of understandable why I wasn't the best at making friends. But after years of, not being great at this, I decided to do whatever I could to make friends. Like, let me tell you, I was desperate. I remember I had a girl tell me the only way to like be friends with her and to like make friends at my elementary school was to dress like a boy for a whole fucking year. So here I was shopping at Target. I was buying like these big old baggy t-shirts, like basically like basketball t-shirts, like baggy shorts, and even the guys made fun of me because they're like, we wouldn't even dress like that. But I was trying just to fit in with someone. And in 6th grade, just kind of continuing this, like I wasn't popular. I was like this weird old outcast who just felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. But in 6th grade, these 2 girls made like a fake Facebook page, and they put a beautiful profile picture of like this woman. It was a fake profile. I didn't know that. They said that she went to like a neighboring middle school, and that's why she was friends with everyone from our middle school, etc. So at first I trusted it, and I was so fucking excited that someone pretty messaged me and like wanted to be friends with me. Like me, the weird kid, like fuck yeah, let's fucking do it. So she asked me a lot of questions that I didn't really understand. Like I didn't even know what a cuss word was until I was in 5th grade because my parents just like really sheltered me and kept me under a rock. So one of the questions she asked is if I masturbated, and then if I masturbated with carrots. And I just said yes to everything because I wanted a friend. Like, I feel like I literally would have literally said yes, even if I knew what it was, just because I was that desperate. Like, I didn't like to sit alone sometimes or like have like one friend or, I wanted to make friends. But anywho, word got around the school that I started masturbating with carrots, and I started getting bullied hard. Like, people literally threw food at me, made fun of me, called me weird, a misfit. Like, it was literally, if someone was, like, using my name, they're like, oh, my God, don't act like Adelia today. Like, people would literally be saying that kind of shit. So, I just never really seemed to fit in. In high school, so when I first went to high school, I actually started making friends with the older kids because the older kids literally didn't give a fuck if I masturbated with carrots. I'm sure a lot of them were masturbating already and having sex and stuff. So I actually started to fit in. But with the older kids, never with my grade. And then after my mom kind of decided that I was being a little too rowdy, I finally, after years of her trying to catch me, failed a drug test for weed. I probably only smoked like once a month, so she just like drug tested me at the exact right time. But she sent me to a troubled teen school in Utah, aka basically like a teen rehab. For weed, which is like literally one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. Like my experience wasn't as bad as like Paris Hilton's if you've watched that documentary, but it still was very, very traumatic. So I was kidnapped and sent to 2 different troubled teen centers, both of which I was told I needed to change who I was to make my parents or others, like any superiors, any older people, the church. Like, I needed to change to make others happy. The staff were horrible fucking people, and said sexist things about the girls' campus, such as we were literally whores for just being who we were, like literally just standing there. Like, we weren't even allowed to wear short shorts. Like, if we were wearing shorts, they were either khakis or basketball shorts, or we had to wear jeans or leggings. And here the male, or actually it was all the staff were over there calling the girls' campus whores, but saying like great things about the male campus. Something else that really fucking sucked about the rehab was that the therapists were very corrupt people. They would lie to both you and your parents to get you to stay longer so they could like suck some more money out of you. So I remember I would tell my parents things that were happening at the rehab, like girls bullying me or trying to fight me, etc. And then he would call my parents after the fucking like session and be like, oh, your daughter, she's having a rough day. She's being dramatic. You know how she is. She lied to you guys, so she's lying again now. And then would tell me things my parents were saying to kind of pin me against them. And it was just very, very toxic. And, you know, it did grow a distrust with me with a lot of people for a while. And, you know, you literally got cited even if you expressed yourself. Like, if you were having a shitty day and you were being negative, being like, oh my God, it's like way too hot outside, I just need to lay down. Like, the staff would cite you for like just being a Debbie Downer. You really couldn't be who you were. It was torture. So let's fast forward to college. I was able to actually make some friends, but then I started growing my Instagram. And like I mentioned before, I had cameras up my asshole taking pictures of my butt, trying to get those angles to make my butt look big, my tits look big. Like, you know, I wore my pasties. I was out there headbanging. I was acting crazy. I mean, I was crazy. I like drank a lot. I used to do Molly a lot. Then I started doing acid a lot. Like, I was a crazy girl. But people would literally start like making fun of me. And it's sad because it was something that really made me happy. Like, that form of self-expression when I feel like growing up. There you go. I'm so pretty when I do that. But you know, growing up, I felt like my sexuality was just oppressed, like, or suppressed, or whatever the right terminology is there, but I felt like I was never able to sexually express myself. So then when I was able to start doing that on Instagram, it was like, my confidence started growing. I felt good about myself. And, you know, people started making fun of my ex, or making fun of me to my ex, which has actually caused a lot of issues with us. But, you know, they started calling me like a stripper and a prostitute and make a lot of degrading comments. It was never to my face. They were like being nice to my face, but some of them would post on their Instagram stories and their bios, like making fun of me for like the stuff I was doing. And I even had a teacher, literally a college teacher, tell me that my shorts were too short and no one was going to take me seriously and that I should start wearing longer shorts to class. And I remember writing her an email saying that made me uncomfortable, that she was commenting on my clothing and kind of like sexualizing me for my clothing. And what she said was that if like any job recruiters if any job recruiters were on campus, none of them would hire me if they saw me walking to class. And I'm like, you think out of the hundreds of people walking around this campus, you think that the job recruiters are going to remember that one girl who has her ass out in her shorts? But it's just really funny because I did go to the University of Arizona, and these were the people judging me so hard for what I was doing, when the statistics show that 1 out of 3 people got chlamydia in college at the University of Arizona. Like, all these frat boys I know were fucking multiple girls, raw dogging it, no condom a week, and yet they were like projecting, I think, their insecurities onto me. But hey, guess who got on Jordan Belfort's Instagram for talking about my chlamydia? At least I'm capitalizing off of it, baby. Because I was also raw dogging when I was a freshman, and, you know, lesson learned. But fast forward to corporate America, about a year and a half after, for about a year and a half after I graduated college, I worked as a recruiter, then I worked in logistics, and I realized that neither of these jobs gave a fuck about me or my mental health, and work friends are fake friends. They literally had me selling a product that I knew sucked, I didn't believe in, our prices were higher, our customer service was kind of shitty. There were just a lot of things where like, I didn't really support it, and then my mental health was just deteriorating. And I finally said, fuck it. This decision was actually made on acid while I was at a concert. I'm like, I'm making an OnlyFans and I'm quitting this fucking job. And I think that was one of like the first moments in my life where I made a decision for me and not anyone else. Because I was thinking about making an OnlyFans for like 6-7 months or something like that. And what kept stopping me and what I kept realizing is like I was so nervous for everyone else's judgments. Like I was scared of my parents because my dad was already calling me a whore for my Instagram. I was scared for the people at my college who were already calling me a slut for my, like, you know, people were just already calling me a slut so much. I was so scared of making an OnlyFans and what everyone was gonna say until I was finally just like, fuck it. Like, I was living for other people, not myself. And this is like the first decision that I was really making that was for me. And I'm selling something that I believe in. It's like my brand is what I'm selling now, which I couldn't say before. I was selling shitty logistics projects or products. And now I'm selling like my brand and my nudes, which I think nudes are now like 1-in-1 with my brand because I really like it now. But OnlyFans has just been able to open so many fucking doors for me, just like created so many opportunities. I started pursuing DJing because I mean, like, come on now, let's just do some deductive reasoning. Why I might have started. I named my dog Wubs. If you don't know what Wubs is, it's like the womps and wubs with dubstep. Like, I'm a fucking bass head. I was a raver. Like, I just thought this was one of the next logical steps in my life. Although I will say this has been a really hard journey. I thought I was going to walk in here because I played piano growing up and it was just going to be a breeze. I'm like, I'm going to be the best DJ off the bat. I'm going to be the best producer off the bat, which is completely fucking false because I think I have a lot slower of a start than other people, but hey, hard work will eventually pay off. But, you know, there are like literally people out there, just going back to the topic of, you know, my podcast is called That's Offensive. There are people saying it's offending them that I'm pursuing DJing and using the opportunity that I have from my social media and my OnlyFans to be able to like pay to have people help me pursue DJing, getting those lessons, etc. And I'm like, I'm sorry that my dubstep offends you, but I'm really just trying to believe in myself. And, you know, people can get offended all they want. And I'm sorry that some people have it like rougher than me, but you know, I gotta live my life for me, live my best life. Another thing that I started doing with OnlyFans is I started sharing a lot of my life on TikTok because I really like to open up about some of my experiences. I like to make people laugh. Although I do need to work on my TikTok internet persona because I know I'm funnier. I know I'm funnier than what I come off on TikTok. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the stage fright. Maybe it's just my acting skills that I try to like do these skits. But like, let me just tell you, if you meet me in real life, I'm definitely funnier than on TikTok. But I think people notice that too because people will say everything from I need to go to church to I'm not funny to I'm cringy and I need to have morals. And you know, they're not wrong on any of these things. You guys are just boosting my engagement. But again, you don't need to look at my TikTok, so why are you spending the time to comment and be offended? I'm not telling you to stop commenting and being offended because views are views, baby. Like, keep them coming. But you know, I can't live for other people. And the theme of this podcast is going to be letting the haters be our motivators, but like on a deeper level, empowering others to be their authentic, genuine selves and changing the narrative when it comes to different lifestyles and different styles of work. Something that I didn't necessarily consider on my last podcast was that OnlyFans isn't for everybody. It has been one of the best experiences I could have asked for, and it has empowered me in every way possible. But, you know, the shoe doesn't fit for everybody, and this podcast is going to be an opportunity to, like, inform people on if it is a good decision for them. So, you know, if I can just educate you guys, like, have you guys make informed decisions, I'm doing my job right. So it's been a while since I podcasted, and a first for me podcasting by myself. Actually, that's a complete lie. This is actually my second time podcasting by myself. I already made an episode, like basically the same script, everything. You could hear my voice shaking. I like tried listening to the first, I'm trying to think, like 10 minutes of the podcast. I mean, there's just a 180 difference between then and today, but my voice was shaking. I was like, Wubs, can you jump in here? Wubs, you are my fucking co-host of the day. And she didn't help me at all. She was just licking me and not speaking. And I mean, it's a fucking joke, guys. Like, she's a fucking dog. But, yeah, so this is a crazy opportunity. It's a little nerve-wracking because now it is just me. I mean, me and Wubs. So, at least she's here for moral support. She's passed out. I took her to the dog park before this, so she'd be a good girl. But, so because this is my first podcast in a while and it's actually me just doing it by myself, I thought that I would fill you guys in on where I left off. So the last podcast I talked about hitting 500,000 subscribers on my other podcast, and I threw a party. So in this party, I did 7 fucking grams of mushrooms. And you might be thinking, holy shit, you're fucking crazy. I think my max that I've done is 9 or 10 grams. And you couldn't even ask me how I'm still a functional person after that many grams of mushrooms. At least my tolerance has gone down because I haven't been partying as much. But bitch, I need to calm down. But get my tolerance back down. But something that happened is I literally threw up a lot, and I had to pee every few minutes. And something that I don't think is talked about enough is people always talk about the alcohol seal. When girls pee for the first time after they drink and they're like, oh my God, I broke the seal, now I have to pee every 30 minutes. I had this with mushrooms, and I don't know if it's just me. You can write in and tell me if it's just me, but the shroom seal is real, where I just have to pee so many times, and then sometimes I'll go to the bathroom and it's nothing is coming out. It just feels like a waterfall needs to come out of me and nothing is there. And let me just paint this image for you, because this party was actually in a really cool place. It was jungly vibes and it was outside, and the music was a little quiet, but it was just very, very aesthetic, and it was humid, hot, etc. Mosquitoes were literally chewing me up. That's how humid it was. And I was wearing kind of fake leathery shorts. And imagine having to peel those off every 30 fucking minutes because I wanted to get my shrooms on. I wanted to get that shroom trip on. But anyways, I feel people are why are you talking about pee so much? But this is a revelation for me that I feel I just wanted to bring the awareness to other people. But at this 500K party, I remember talking about in one of my past podcasts that I had a few potential love interests. And in this one, I was pursuing one of them. And he really did seem like the perfect dude. He offered to clean for me, to cook for me. He actually even listened to my podcast to learn about my likes, dislikes, etc. And I have literally never had a guy do that much for me. So I'm why am I not in love with this man? I think the most a guy has ever done is paid for my Uber after fucking him to go home. Actually, no, I had one guy help me with some graphic design, but this is actually after we even broke up or ended things. We were literally just friends at that point. But this guy was checking out all the check marks. So I really had to think. And my advice to everyone is never settle for someone you feel you should be in love with. And I felt that was what I was doing. I was trying to convince myself that I should be dating him and that he would be great for me and that he wouldn't be a fuckboy and that this was just going to work out great. And some girls might love the shit he was doing, but I couldn't take it anymore because I don't necessarily want someone trying to solve my problems or always ask how I'm doing. And I think the biggest red flag for me was that he called me darling. Not once, not twice, but I think it was 3 times. One of them was after we had sex. And that was just, have you ever felt your vagina go from wet to just drying up like the Sahara Desert? Because that's what was happening there. So I'd rather be alone than that. But I know some girls would fucking kill for that. And the thing is, I'm not telling him to change to fit for me. It's just, it wasn't really a match. I feel we were both just such submissive people I mean, actually, I'm pretty dominant in like everyday life, but like in the bedroom particularly, I need someone to like dominate me, hit me, tell me exactly what to do, degrade me, call me a slut, a cum dumpster, slap me around. And if someone isn't able to do that for me in the bedroom, then, you know, it's not that fucking compatible. But this wasn't the only thing stopping me from wanting a man at the moment. But the other thing was that I am just now discovering that I am definitely bisexual, whereas I thought I was just bi-curious for years. And this is like a huge discovery for me, where it's like I do want to explore how I feel about women. So let me just start off the story by saying I literally spent most of my life saying I don't like being eaten out. Hated it. Thought it felt like someone was licking me. I mean, I guess that is technically what's happening, but that's all it felt like. It felt like someone was like licking my elbow, but like on my vagina. It didn't feel tingly, nothing. Like, you know, that's just, I think I even talked about it on my last podcast just for reference. Then this goddess, she was a goddess, right, Wubs? She was gorgeous, comes along and licks my vagina in every right way. And I have, okay, Wubs, are you gonna be a bad co-host right now? You need to stay for the story. All right, lay back down, bitch. My God, you guys are gonna think I like abuse my dog, but I think in reality she borderline abuses me with her neediness, and because I don't abuse my dog. She's great. I'm great. We're great together. It's a great relationship. Anyways, this goddess comes along. So let me like paint a picture for you for how this all started. It was 3 of us, all 3 beautiful blonde bombshells. Oh my God, I can't believe I just referred to myself as beautiful. People are literally gonna be like, oh my God, you're so conceited for calling yourself beautiful. But you know, in hindsight, when 3 like pretty blonde girls with fake tits are together, people are gonna be like, wow, they're beautiful. So I'm just gonna go with that. We started off by the pool. So we were at the pool. They were drinking. I was drinking my water because, you know, I don't really drink. And the one girl who licked my vagina was talking about how she has a boyfriend. She's allowed to hook up with whatever girls, even guys, as long as like she shows her boyfriend the videos after. And one of her like main goals in life is to teach people how to have good sex. So I was like intriguing, like maybe this girl can turn me. We go up to the hotel and decide to make a video where Kristen, that's her name, teaches people how to eat out by eating me out so then I can eat out the other girl, and her name was Sarah. And let me tell you, like this eating out story, I have thought about this girl, Kristen, like every single week since it happened. Like I think I've hooked up with 2 guys since her, and I wish the guys were her while I'm hooking up with them. Like that's how good it was. And that's when I knew, like, I'm definitely bi-fucking sexual. Like she started off, she used her tongue unlike any man I've been with. She started by kissing like my tits, then slowly making her way down to my stomach, then like spread my legs apart, was like licking or like kissing my thighs until like she finally got to my clit. But like she was teasing the clit for a second and then she got to it. But like just the way she was like doing everything and like teasing me and really having that build up, like I was already wet by the time she started licking my actual vagina. And then when she started licking my vagina, like the tingly feeling I got was unmatched by anything a guy has ever done. Like I have come like maybe like 2 or 3 times from dick, in like those times it don't even compare to like the shit she was doing. I was feeling lightheaded, like I was ready to come, like oh my God. And then I started like doing this other girl, Sarah, and I found out I'm better at eating girls out than I am at sucking dick. Like, what a fucking concept. But now that I am sucking dick again because I'm no longer celibate, I'm getting better. I'm working on the gluck gluck. Like, I know this isn't Call Her Daddy. I'm not even trying to be like a Call Her Daddy wannabe, but I'm listening to like Alex's first episodes where she teaches how to like give head so then I can give better head, because I'm tired of sucking in this arena. But, you know, I'm getting better. That's all I gotta say. But finding the G-spot and like the clit is a lot easier, I think, when you have one, because like you kind of know the areas, you know what gets you all tingly. And a little bit of advice, because now I've been able to find it on another girl, and it's actually really easy to find the G-spot. So the clit is where, like, you know, it's where like the pink little, I'm trying to think of like the roast beef hangs out. You spread that apart, that's where the clit is. The G-spot, however, you find this, this isn't even a sex podcast, but like this is what I'm learning just from being like hooking up with girls. So I thought I'd pass this like knowledge along. The G-spot is when you like have your finger, you don't put your finger all the way in. It's like actually pretty soon after you put your finger in, and you can feel kind of like, it feels like a ridge. So that is where the G-spot is, and you just like fuck around with that little area if you want your girl to come. And if you don't want your girl to come, then you don't deserve vagina. You deserve to die a fucking virgin. And here's the thing. I'm saying this because a lot of the reason that it was so easy for me to be celibate for so long is because I was fucking with these frat boys who could give a shit if I came. It was like, as long as they got their nut, we would cuddle after. Like, I would have my vibrator in the bag. Some of them would think it was weird that I brought it everywhere with me. And I'm like, well, I'm just trying to be prepared. Like, I'm trying to get off too. And these little bitch boys would be like, oh, like, we already fucked. Like, I put an effort for the sex, etc. And like, literally, like, if they made me come, it was a fucking accident. Like, that's how fucking bad it was. And then this girl comes along, and all of a sudden I'm horny again. I'm believing in sex again. I am just loving life. But speaking of not really being celibate anymore, I did make my first sex tape. Adelia, oh my God. So you really are a porn star now. Why, yes, I fucking am. I have officially crossed that line to full-blown porn star. Before, with the girl content, I was bordering, but now I do it all, except for anal. I don't think you'll find an anal video ever on my OnlyFans. I tried to stick a butt plug up there for a video, and I completely fucking blacked out. But, I think, like, realistically, I crossed the line of being a porn star a while ago, but now I'm just like, I'm all in it. I'm in it to win it, baby. I'm in there to get my bag. Now I'm fucking again. And surprisingly, it was one of my old subscribers. Well, actually, let's be real. I hooked up with him before he was a subscriber. Then I wouldn't hook up with him for a while. And then he became a subscriber because he's like, well, I still want to see her naked. And then I'm like, he'll be down for content. Let's get to it. And I gave one of the sloppiest blowjobs I ever have. And I'm like, all right. So the call her daddy tips were working. I'm giving better head. I'm doing all this stuff. So I'm fucking stoked on that. So for those of you judging me, being like, Adelia, wasn't the episode of your first podcast OnlyFans biggest prudes because like I really didn't fuck and I was celibate? You know what? Yes, Timmy, I was celibate, but I was also right now I'm in a place in my life where I want to explore my sexuality and not get shamed for it and like find a sex that really does feel good. And I think it was just so easy for me to give up sex before because all of it was super mediocre. And now that I'm having like good sex again, like why give it up? Honestly, I might, but like, I just, want to have sex every once in a while nowadays. And I think being celibate has a purpose. It had its purpose and it definitely helped me in the time, but sometimes being a hoe has its purpose and it's whatever you're feeling, baby. And there's no shame in whatever it is you fucking want to do. But speaking of exploring my sexuality, people are going to be like, wow, you really fucking are a whore. I had my first orgy, and it was with all girls. All girls, baby. I feel like if there was a dick there, I would have probably freaked out, like not knowing what to do. But at least since it was all girls and I felt comfortable with all these girls, they were all OnlyFans girls, I'm like, yes, let's fucking do it. And this is where I figured out, like, I am really submissive in bed. Like, I want people to dominate me, and that's how I get, like, super turned on. But, there were just girls in the orgy who were very, very dominant, and I was getting turned on by them specifically. So this orgy started with a little card game where all the girls were around a bed, and the cards would say something ridiculous, like, caress her elbow, or, like, pinch her nipple, or like put your elbow to her butt. Like it was some like ridiculous stuff to get like the girls loosened up and like comfortable enough to like literally have an orgy with each other. Like we were crossing the, you know, we were friends, like crossing that line from being friends to like, we're gonna fuck each other. We're gonna fuck each other hard. So there were some girls, just to paint this picture, there were some girls on the floor, and the girls on the floor just weren't really comfortable getting things shoved in their vagina. Vagine, as I like to say it, but for some reason the word vagina is rolling off my tongue better than the word vagine today. So I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, I was one of those girls that's like, yes, I want to get fucking railed by one of these girls with a strap-on dildo on. So here my friend was, my dear friend Nala, and she put on a strap-on and fucked me so hard with it that it literally fell out of like the little holster. And yes, guys, you can find the video on my OnlyFans. But like, since I hadn't had sex in a hot minute, my vagina was so tight. She almost like shoved it in my asshole, and I was like, oh my God. But then like I was eating girls out, girls were eating me out, and it was just like, it was a grand fucking old time. And you know, I felt very sexually liberated because I think most of my life people were trying to tell me that like doing things for my like owning up to my sexuality, doing things I was feeling sexually, like it was wrong to express yourself sexually. And this just felt so liberating that I was able to do exactly what I wanted to do, explore my bisexuality a little bit. And the nice thing about being bisexual but hetero-romantic, so there is a little bit of a difference there. So hetero-romantic is when like you can only see yourself dating guys, but bisexual, like I get very turned on by girls. So like when I hook up with a guy, I get attached a lot, and I can't really help it. But when I hook up with girls, it can just be like a little fling, one and done, and it's fun. like no strings attached, and then we can just go back to being friends after. It's great. So, you know, you talked to Adelia about a year ago, and she would have been disgusted, like absolutely disgusted by the things I'm doing now. She would be like, you're not celibate anymore. You're hooking up with girls and guys. Like, who are you? Like, where has it all gone wrong? She would have been so disappointed, but hey, I'm proud of me now. But like, put things into perspective here. Being celibate in Arizona was like so incredibly easy for me because like every single guy that I saw in Arizona, they just reminded me of like that cartoon where it's like the muscle guy who eats the green beans and all of a sudden his muscles grow. Like the guys literally look like meatheads who do steroids and wear shirts that are too tight for them. And like, you know, you can just imagine how much their dicks have shrank from the amount of steroids they use. It was easy to be celibate there. Like there was absolutely no one who like made my vagina tingle to the slightest. But on top of that, I've hooked up with some of these men. So let me tell you, these men on steroids in Arizona, and a lot of them are pretty, so I feel like they have that going for them. So they've never had to find a clit. I don't think they've ever found the clit or tried to. It doesn't make sense though, because all these girls in Arizona are like 10 out of 10. Like you can be a 10 even in California and go to Arizona and all of a sudden you're a 5. And the men in Arizona just don't deserve these girls because like why is it so hard to find the clit? Like it's all these frat boys being like, well, I'm pretty, she's pretty, I don't have to try. Like no, this is why I go for my skinny dorky men, because at least they have to try in bed. Because they don't have a whole lot less going for them. I think I fucked that. Like it was a tongue twister right there. But the thing, I actually am really attracted to tall, skinny men, but they do have to try a little harder in bed because most girls aren't attracted to them. Me, however, if it looks like you're drugged out, like you've done meth, well, not in your face, but like your body, it just looks like you don't eat. For some reason, that is the body type where I'm like, my vagina's wet. Oh, this has just gotten a little out of hand here. But now, like, you know, I am in a place with OnlyFans that I'm able to explore my sexuality with no judgment. And it's completely freeing. It's so exciting. I'm able to post what I want, say what I want, do what I want. And, you know, I think like this whole podcast definitely is like offending some people somewhere. They're like, you're having orgies, you're not celibate anymore, you're not a woman of God, you're telling people that OnlyFans is great. Like, fuck you, bitch. You know what? I'll take that. I'll take that because I am promoting authenticity. And if this is what I want to do, if this is what you want to do, if this is what anyone else wants to do, fucking do it. Like, that's all I gotta say. And at least I am being myself, and I encourage everyone else to do the same. Peace out, mic drop, but just kidding, I have to plug myself. So, since all of my accounts just tend to get deleted a lot, I'm just gonna plug my website. That's It's DEELZ. So ITSDEE, like E like elephant, LZ like zebra.com. And you can find all my updated links there. Thank you so much for coming to my first podcast. Hopefully you don't hate me too much. I know I can be annoying. Thank you so much.